You're listening to Search the Scriptures Daily, a program in which we encourage everyone who desires to know God's truth to look to God's Word for all that is essential for salvation and living one's life in a way that is pleasing to Him. In this first segment of our program, we're continuing a new series featuring Dave Hunt's book, Seeking and Finding God. And later in the program, Gary will tell you how you can obtain a copy. Now, Dave, last week we covered one opposing view to your claim that life continues on after death because man's non-physical parts, his spirit and soul, are eternal elements that are not affected by death. And that opposing view is there's nothing to prepare for. When you're dead, you're dead. That's the end of it all. Today, we're going to look at another opposing view that death is followed by unconditional acceptance, and it constitutes the next step in our progression, the progression of our existence. Is really, according to some, it's a spiritual advancement. Now, that has been, as Dave, as you well know, that's been the gospel that's common to in all forms of communication with spirits, whether it be seances or mediums or psychics, Ouija boards, channelers, through drugs, meditation, and so forth. Now, let's start with communication from non-physical intelligences. Is that a reality?
Well, I would say that it is. I mean, there are probably more fakes than genuine mediums. Satan speaks through his demons.
Satan, who is a non-physical entity himself, a spirit being, an angel created by God who rebelled against God.
Right.
According to the Scriptures, according to the Bible.
Who apparently has a lot of demons following him now. I presume they were all fallen angels. You have all kinds of mediums all over the world. I mean, this has been going on for thousands of years, and we can document it that the same message, what do they have? More than 1,000 channelers in Los Angeles.
Well,
they say.
That was a number of years ago. I'm pretty sure that was the.
You think there's more?
The
or that was the peak?
Oh, without a doubt.
But all over the world, you have this going on, and how do we know it's from some demonic source? Because there is a common message that comes through, and that message conforms to what the serpent said to Eve in the garden. And probably the major one, I'm thinking of Bishop Pike. He was the Episcopalian Bishop of California some years ago. His son, who was living in London, was a homosexual, and whether it was because of his conscience bothering him about that, we don't know, but he committed suicide. So it was a great blow to the bishop. He went to London and to just check out his son's apartment and pick up his things and so forth. Some weird things happened to him when he was there, strange things. The clock would suddenly, go back to the time when his son had committed suicide. And so that caused him to think, well, maybe he could make contact with his son's spirit. So he went to Anna Twigg, a very famous medium in those days. And sure enough, here his son comes through. And, coming through a female, but you couldn't say the voice was recognizable, but some of the inflections and so forth talked about things. Well, Dad, you remember when, and things that Anna Twigg could not possibly have known. The bishop thought only his son could know. I mean, this was intimate things between them, and things that had happened in the home and so forth. So that convinced him where certain things hung in the home and so forth. Well, this must be genuine. And his son said a number of things, but get back to, Tom, what you were talking about. One of the things that his son said was, Dad, I'm not here for just a pleasant conversation. I have a mission since I've come to the other side. And my mission is to let you and others know there is no such thing as death. We just move on. You know, it's like graduate school. We keep going through higher stages. And I think Pike asked his son, well, have you seen Jesus over there yet? And his son said, no, I haven't met him yet, but I've heard of him. He's on a higher level. So here we have the lies coming through, but the same ones come through all over the world. So we know there is something behind this. It's not imagination. Okay? They're out there. These are demonic entities, and of course they have been possessing people.
Dave, and as we have mentioned, more than mentioned, presented in this series, if we indeed are part of our makeup is non-physical, our soul, our spirit, there's nothing to deny the fact that there are other spirits out there, non-physical entities, intelligences.
Right. Tom, it's very interesting. I don't know to what extent we mention it, and I won't get off on that. But you could say materialism is dead. I remember when I was in school, as a boy, even in grammar school, well, consciousness, even conscience, everything. The psychologists were leading the way in this, but the physicists were going along with them. One day we would be able to explain it just in terms of the brain, just in terms of chemical reactions in the brain and electrical currents jumping between the synapses and so forth. And that's all it was. We're just matter. Tom, they don't believe that anymore. And there are physicists, quantum physicists, who have been talking about this. They would say, look, where is... I was just reading George Wald, Nobel Prize winner, just reading him today, and you think he's on our side, because he says, you can't find consciousness. It doesn't have any physical substance. It does not have any location. And then he likens it, he says, it's like an electron. It doesn't have any, it's just like a will-o'-the-wisp. It goes from here to there, and it doesn't cross the space in between. You can't find the location of an electron. So now we've got them into, and George Wald, well, but there's a great mind out there. And everything is conscious, even the matter, even rocks. There's a consciousness in everything. Now we're moving into real mysticism, a denial of the God who created us. And suddenly the creator is part of his creation and is manifesting himself. We're into Hinduism, Tom, as you know. So this is, but this all comes from these demonic entities.
Dave, you alluded to Satan in the Garden of Eden, speaking to Eve as a serpent.
Right.
And I want to quote that verse. This is Genesis chapter 3, verses 4 and 5. And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So on the one hand, we've been saying that, yes, there's physical death, but beyond that, beyond the body dying, the soul and spirit continue.
For more information about the Berean call us toll-free at our order number or visit our website